Xaver Schlager is a red. Welcome to your Forest transfer news. Hi guys, hope you're doing well and welcome to your latest Forest transfer news where we have our first signing under the Glasner era. So make sure you've liked, make sure you subscribed and check out OK Jerseys where you can still get 15% off your £15 tops if you use code FFTV15. And let's jump into the news because look, this isn't the sexiest signing, right? I'll say that now, but this is a very sensible signing. Maybe you guys don't know Schlager or Schlager. I don't know. Maybe we'll start calling him that. But this guy is kind of an Elliot Anderson replacement. But as I would keep saying, and I've been saying all summer, you can't replace Elliot Anderson. So take what I just said there with that caveat that you can't replace Anderson. Why do I like him? One, he's Austrian. Obviously, there's been a lot of influence in this signing from Glasner, which is important, which we'll talk about in a second. Secondly, he's a progressive mover of the ball. Football IQ, very, very high. He's got the energy for the midfield as well. And he's rejected renewing his contract with Leipzig. And there's some other decent-sized clubs that were in for him. And he's chosen Forest over them. Obviously because, well, we're Forest firstly and the Glasner factor as well. So 28-year-old central midfielder. I think he's been out in Austria as well. He's been out in America playing for Austria in the World Cup as well. So this guy is a good all-round midfielder. Yes, he does have some cons. Injury proneness. He's had a few injuries in his career. He does sometimes like to go very strong in a tackle. So from a disciplinary wise, sometimes we may see the odd yellow, maybe a couple of reds here and there. And then there's times where he can, he's a bit asleep in games and he can drift out of the games, in my opinion, or he goes through really good purple patches in throughout the season and so on. So overall, why am I happy about this one? Because this is a sensible deal. It's not an exciting deal. It's a sensible deal because it's free. Okay. Now, free doesn't mean free. You still got to pay a signing on bonus, his agents, everything else, but you're saving on a transfer fee. And as I mentioned, other clubs were interested in him. We're talking the likes of Juventus, still a big name in Europe. Celtic, they too have stars available, but I still think Forest have more draw. And because of Glasner was the overriding factor, obviously Schlager is Austrian as well. Well, good day, mate, as Luke Christmas would say. So let's get into the deal and I'll explain it all to you guys. So this is coming from David Ornstein. It's tier 1. It's done. Forest set to sign Xaver Schlager after midfielder's Leipzig exit. He says Leipzig have tried to renew Schlager's contract before his exit, while the 28-year-old had attracted interest from other top clubs across Europe. As I said, I've heard it's Juventus and Celtic. Forest he will sign a 2-year contract with the option of an additional 12 months. Now that additional 12 months it will be on Forest side, so we get the choice after 2 years. Do we want to trigger a 1-year extension? That's how they tend to normally work. Schlager will undergo a medical in Nottingham this week ahead of joining the squad at pre-season for their training camp in Portugal. Before his exit, Schlager was Leipzig's vice-captain, made 108 appearances for the club after joining from Wolfsburg, and will provide key leadership and experience in Forest squad. He's also been a key member of the Austria national team, impressing as he started all 4 of the World Cup games as they exited the round of 32. Then he goes on to talk about Anderson again and how much Forest got. How will Glasner's arrival impact? Then a bit about that. Schlager will supplement a Forest midfield department, which also includes Sangare, Dominguez, Yates, Gibbs-White, and McAtee. Schlager is in line to be Forest's first arrival of the summer, as well as the first signing under new head coach Glasner. The Austrians signed a 3-year deal. Okay, they love fluffing out these pieces, don't they? Schlager came through the academy at Salzburg before moving to Wolfsburg, where he was brought in during Glasner's first season in charge of the Bundesliga club in 2019. He has 55 caps for Austria, 150 games, so on and so forth. Okay, so those are the details behind it. So I still think we will get more in the midfield, but this is a very, very good starting point, and he's got such a cool name as well. 28, Some people start thinking, oh, okay, is he coming to the twilight of his career? And I say no. I think football, the bracket for age has moved. 30 used to always be like a cutoff for age. It's like you can't sign anyone who's 30. Football's gone. You're seeing, Messi playing at 39, Ronaldo playing at 41, me still playing at 23. So there's, a massive scope in terms of age now. And I think anything up to 32, like if we got him at 28, you're still realistically looking at 4 good years before they start to, maybe slowly curve down. But for me, I just want to talk to you guys about his IQ level and the tackling that he can do. This is where I think his strengths are. And he does pop in with a couple of goals as well. Now, people like Ant, and shout out to Ant, I saw him today, had good fun with him and Nathan, his brother. People like Ant will say, oh, Bundesliga, Farmers League. I disagree with that. I think the Bundesliga is probably the closest in terms of physicality when it comes to the Premier League. I think those two leagues are not a million miles apart. We've seen loads of players coming from the Bundesliga and doing fine in England. And then you have people like Wirtz. So those are the kind of key points on it. Now, when I'm saying it's a here we go, Ornstein's obviously broken the news. But it will be subject to medical. Now, there are some reports that saying the medical has been completed. I can't confirm to you one way or another. But as Ornstein was saying in his article, he's set to go out to Portugal with the boys, meet up with the team. And this is what I want to see. I've been saying it to you guys for the last couple of weeks. If we're going to do our business, do it early, get them integrated early. And I think Glasner's pushing for it. And also another key factor, as I mentioned towards the start of the video, Glasner getting involved in this, or this being an Austrian player, or this being an ex-Glasner player is absolutely fantastic because it is showing that Marinakis is doing what he said he was going to do and having Glasner at least influencing or being part of the conversation of getting these players that he wants that are going to suit his system. So already with Schlager, we're getting a player who will know how Glasner likes, how Glasner operates, formations, tactics, and everything like that. And with his experience, it's going to be someone who can lead as well. Maybe he forms part of that senior leadership group that we keep hearing about. So I'm happy with this. I'm not going to be freaking dancing around the streets naked in excitement. I just think this is a sensible signing. It's not one where I raise an eyebrow and think, why? I look through it and I see the logic behind it and how this does help the squad. And at the price of being quote unquote free, it's a no-brainer. It's a free punt, so to speak. It comes with no real strings attached. And Glasner already knows him. So he can start to instill into the players. He will also start, what you'll find is he'll start talking to the players. The players will be asking him, tell us about Glasner, what he does, what his likes are, pros, cons, etc. And this will help both connect the management side with the player side a lot quicker. So I'm happy about it. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Right, I'm off to go watch the football. Make sure you've liked, make sure you're subscribed, and we'll see you on the next video. Come on, you Reds.